Whoever she sleeps with first can be called bedbug.
Welcome to Inchworm,
the podcast in which we're inching through Worm. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Ted.
And this time we read Hive 5.10.
It's the end of the arc.
And the most romantic chapter of Worm we've had so far.
Oh my gosh.
I am so into this.
A new ship has entered the arena.
So I'm thinking like Bad Bug.
That's really cute. I like
Bug
that a lot.
Hound Bug.
Do you want to know
I do.
the name?
I do.
WolfSpider.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Off format from what we've been doing.
Yeah,
They don't all have to have bug in them. Nor in fact do they all have to involve Taylor, but
no, every romantic relationship in this world has to involve Taylor.
yeah. But Bad Bug, I like that.
I like Bad Bug.
We can go with whatever we want. It's our podcast.
Whoever she sleeps with first can be called bedbug. Retroactively.
Amazing. I love that. I love that so much. And yeah, we should talk about it. I mean, other stuff does happen. It's not 100% romance all the time. Let's see. Even chapter, so I think that means it's yours
I think it is
to
my
summarize.
turn. Yeah.
So please enjoy. Go right ahead. Tell the listeners what's going on.
I just finished reading it just now for the first time ever, so we'll see how well I do with this. So we start out, Taylor has just gouged out Loom's eyes while he's unconscious.
As one does.
As one does. Who doesn't do that? She is on the phone with 911, as we learned in our first line preview. She basically is like, yeah, Loom's there, blinded, unconscious, only one of them's gonna last. Maybe tell the Protectorate, tell the PRT. And the 911 person's like, okay, but who are you? What's your CAPE designation? And Taylor just hangs up. So she heads out with her colleagues, her friends, her allies. Sundancer's like, can't believe you blinded that guy. Taylor has a little bit of reflection on like, okay, maybe it was a little messed up, but just couldn't stomach the idea of him just going out in the street tomorrow like nothing had happened. So she finds out that the reason Bitch came back so fast, instead of going to fight a doctor, is that one of Coil's soldiers, the one who didn't have his leg broken, is actually a medic. So she just had to leave Neuter with the soldier, and the soldier said he could take care of it. And in fact, it seems like Neuter is stable and conscious and doing even better than the medic expected, because one of the things his power gives him is a little bit of resilience and maybe healing, a little unclear.
Amazing. Good for him.
And resistance to infection, which is very useful in this instance. Also, Taylor's bugs, which she had forgotten that she sent them after the money, but apparently a small army of roaches dropped off a bunch of bags of money. And Taylor's like, oh right, I forgot about that. So they all decide, well really, Taylor offers. She's like, we should all take some. It's kind of a bonus for doing this together. And Kaiser and Co are gone, so we don't have to worry about that.
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm just imagining, they don't dwell on it in the chapter, but I'm just imagining you're sitting there, you don't know what's happening. Loom is back there. Are we winning?
Are we losing? Is Loom about to come
They're
try to kill me?
waiting for a dragon to explode out of the building, and suddenly you see something, on the horizon coming over a piece of rubble, and you're like, what is going on? And it's just a carpet of cockroaches, and they're carrying something. And now I'm imagining, like, bank bags and like a cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Just like a big sack with like a dollar bill on it.
They're probably just paper bags, so they don't even know it's money. They're like, what are these roaches bringing us? And they're like, oh, it's money. I guess this is a good sign.
Do you think, I'm sorry, I'm doing this in the middle of the summary, but do you think the roaches just stay there? Or like when they're, like, do you think they just go into like standby mode? Or do you think they like become normal roaches and skitter away?
I think once their mission is complete, they become normal roaches. Because it's not like they were still there when, like Taylor would have mentioned that. She would have noticed immediately.
So that's great. That's good stuff. You were saying, though, they're planning to split the money.
They split the money. Taylor and Bitch end up with 3 of the bags. She has no idea how much is in each bag, so it could be, someone gets a bag of ones. Could be exciting. They take the money, and there's some splitting up. Coil's guys say, no, we gotta ride. Sundancer goes off in the opposite direction, and they walk with Neuter and Labyrinth for a little while. Neuter is leading Labyrinth by the hand, and Ted is making a face because it's so cute. And Taylor gets to ask Neuter a little bit, like, what's going on with Labyrinth. Apparently, she was very, like, neurotypical, normal kid. And then her powers change something in how she thinks. She has days when she's more lucid than others. She's kind of just off in her own little world for a lot of the time. But they know from the times when she's more lucid that she's, happy with how everything's going. And they can tell she's doing better than she used to, question mark, now that they've gotten her out of that place, whatever that was.
Intriguing.
Because the stuff that she makes with her powers is prettier than it used to be. So, sort of a litmus
really
test.
Like that
detail. Yeah. So they get to a manhole cover into the sewers, and Labyrinth creates a staircase. Not an illusion, a little unclear. Neuter goes down it with her, and they disappear into the sewers. And then Bitch and Taylor ride the dogs to the beach, it seems like. And Bitch sends the dogs home through some kind of pipe. I guess there's a back way into the loft. And Bitch is like, okay, well, change. We have to walk through the streets. We have to be inconspicuous. And Taylor's like, oh, I don't actually have any clothes with me. So she has to strip down to the tank top and little shorts that she's wearing. And she's very cold and also has an enormous bruise, a dragon hand bruise on her body.
Wrapping around her body and her neck. All 5 of Lung's fingers burned into her.
Yep. Bitch says, you look like someone tried to hang you. Which is, looks bad. So Taylor's like, well, nothing I can do about it, and kind of balls up her costume so nothing's showing, and they walk, and Taylor's really cold. And then Bitch puts her jacket around her, and it's the sweetest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
And Taylor's like, thank you. And Bitch is like, you needed something to cover your neck. She looked bothered. People would stare. Taylor's like, no, thank you. It's a little bit of well, we should talk about this interaction.
Absolutely.
But, yeah. So they get home. No one else is back yet. And then there's sort of this awkward time where Taylor's like, I don't know how to interact with Bitch because everything I say seems to be the wrong thing. She goes and puts on some warmer clothes, bundles up, goes sits on the couch with Bitch, who does not seem happy to have her there. And then she remembers something, kind of a flag that had gone off in her mind, and is like, hey, Bitch, when I said thank you, did I seem sarcastic to you? Taylor has a thing where she is always worried that she sounds sarcastic when she thanks someone for something. And Bitch is like, what? Why? What? And Taylor's like, I will pay you to answer this question. You can keep all the money we got from this. And Bitch is like, okay. And so Taylor's like, all right, so did I seem sarcastic? And Bitch is like, I don't know. Taylor's like, what, you couldn't tell? She's like, I don't know. Taylor's like, okay, well, now you can have the money. And she'd also told Bitch she would leave if she answered the question. So she, leaves to her room. I
just love how futile that whole interaction was. It's brilliant.
It seemed futile, but I think it actually was the piece of data that Taylor wanted, which we'll get to.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So then everyone else comes back. Taylor comes out of her room. Everyone kind of says what happened to them, and Lisa pulls Taylor aside, and they end up talking in the kitchen. And Taylor asks her about Bitch. It's like she's really good at reading body language. Did something about her power impede her ability to read, vocal cues or ability to read people generally? Lisa's like, the normal cues that we read from each other in a conversation. Bitch can't read them. She probably couldn't even learn them. Her mind has been changed to be able to read her dogs better. It makes it really difficult for her. She can't tell if people are angry, people smile and they're baring their teeth. What is,
Yeah.
Taylor's like, why didn't you say anything? And it seems like Bitch doesn't even know. And Lisa's basically like, if Bitch heard about it, which I think means if Bitch heard that it was true, not that Lisa was saying it, she would leave. And for some reason, Lisa doesn't even know the reason, but the boss wants her to stick in the group. So Lisa hasn't told Brian and Alec because she doesn't think they could keep the secret. They just aren't very good at that kind of thing, I guess. Brian's too transparent and Alec would forget. So she's like, don't talk about this to anyone because Bitch would leave if she heard us talking about this, if she found out about it, I guess. So yeah, the conclusion is Bitch is not a sociopath. She just can't really read people. And Taylor has some thoughts about so maybe some of the violence and hostility is covering for that because she can't tell what people are showing to her. So she's just sort of overcompensating. But she's left with this knowledge at the end of the chapter that wow, I find it hard to interact with people, but it must be so much harder for Bitch.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. That's the chapter. She is gaining this amazing insight. I'm so impressed with Taylor for realizing this. It seems like Brian and Alec have not.
Yeah.
Lisa knows because she has this extra ability to know things, but Taylor picked up on it without that.
Right.
It seems like she's the only one who did that.
Right. And I love that Taylor connects with Bitch, right? The beginning of this arc, Taylor's connecting with Bitch about the dogfighting in like a really like, oh, sort of both an I see your value now, but also like, yeah, like that's righteous. Like I like that about her. And then that gives her, that opens the door to her to really unpack what's going on, right? We've had several scenes of like...
She has some respect for her, but she's like, you're not just an angry person. Like, something else is going on.
Yeah, and there were a bunch of times when they connect... Taylor can see how Bitch works, and then a bunch of miscommunications.
Yes.
And a really big one in this chapter. But yeah.
Well, remember how I said in the first or second chapter of this arc, like, Brian's a really bad dog trainer. This, like, I was more right than I knew. Like, it is true that Bitch can read dog-type cues better than human-type cues. And Brian is really bad at giving them, apparently. And he's so frustrated at this point. I think Taylor's going to go home and research dog training. Maybe not dog training so much as dog communication, like how to communicate with your dogs, how dogs communicate with each other.
Right.
I mean, Bitch isn't a dog. You wouldn't be able to train her. Like, she has a human intelligence. Like, you're not going to be able to train her to heal or whatever. But I think that will let Taylor communicate with her in a way that no one else can.
Yeah.
And I think Taylor's the kind of person who does her homework and would care enough to do that.
Right, yeah. She's the one, she does the research on parahumans online. She took her first aid training. That's absolutely the kind of thing that she does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if she did. I mean, maybe things will get busy and she won't get to it. But, I think that would be her next step. And I think we're not going to hear about her doing the research. I think we'll just, like, next time she interacts with Bitch, she's going to try some things.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so it's like probably not supposed to be romantic. Like, I was so bummed reading the jacket scene. I was like, I know they're not going to be like the main ship, but this is so sweet.
Well, yeah.
Ted told me this is not a super queer narrative, so probably it's not all about a lesbian romance, but like... And then when they got to the loft, the line where Taylor says, what could I do? What could I say? I can only hear to the tune of Red and Black from Les Mis, like, what could I do? What could I say? Will I rub her the wrong way?
Yeah.
It's just such a, like, I'm feeling so awkward. The sexual tension is off the charts. How do I interact with this new crush?
I will say, I think that... I really don't want to give you any hints about where Taylor's relationships, both platonic and potentially romantic, will go in the story. But I do think one thing that I really appreciate about Worm, and I think maybe why it is pretty popular with a queer audience, or like is a nice. There's a fertile ground for reading queer stuff into it, because I think there's not a lot of like compulsory heterosexuality.
Not too much compet.
Yeah, like we haven't seen anything from Taylor about like needing a partner, needing a boyfriend. Like that aspect of kind of a typical high school girl story is like completely missing. And I think that tends to be true. It'll be interesting to see when, if ever, it's not true in the story, but I do think that's a feature of the text, that like there's a little bit of openness because of that lack of...
This jacket scene didn't launch like 1,000 fanfics. Like, what are people doing? I also feel like, based on this chapter, it seems like Taylor just got a key that could unlock a really important relationship. Like,
yes.
Bitch does not have any human in her life who she can communicate with well.
Yeah.
And Taylor, like I said already, seems like someone who would do the work to figure out how to communicate with her.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that she's just supposed to be here to infiltrate or whatever. But, like, she values being able to work with people. And she values being able to communicate with people. Like, she had that thing with Labyrinth, like, I can't communicate with her, like, can't use her. And I think she recognizes the importance of having that good communication. She will do that work.
And she was saying, like, I didn't want to leave the Undersiders behind in a bad
yeah.
way, and being sort of, you know, the only person Bitch has who maybe understands her or cares to
try,
to
put in that work,
will, you know, deepen her conflicted feelings.
Yeah, if she is Bitch's person, how do you leave that?
Yeah.
Like, Bitch who's never had a person.
Yeah.
And if she and Taylor are able to build a strong connection, which I really want for them, like, it seems like the ingredients are there. There is a sense of shared purpose. Not the same purpose, but they both have this sort of, Taylor wants to bring down bad guys, Bitch wants to bring down specifically people who are bad to dogs. They're both kind of driven by this, like, mission of, like, the world needs to be better in these ways.
Yeah.
And Taylor's been so frustrated by, like, I can't communicate with her, but she just figured out the key, and she's gonna have to, there's gonna be some trial and error, it's gonna be a learning process, but, like, I want them to be, like, besties.
Yes.
I want them to be, like ride or die.
Yes.
This is what I want for them.
Yes.
I don't know if it'll go that way. It would break my heart if it just, like, fell apart before it got there. Or, oh God, if it fell apart after that, of course it would be even worse. But I think the potential is there. And I mean, I feel like Bitch has been teased so much up to this point.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't see much of her at all after that initial, like, aggression. We just heard about her through the other Undersiders. Like, she was built up as, like, oh, she's such a problem, like, this challenge and this challenge. And I kept having theories about, like, it must be different than that. And it is. Like, this is the chapter where we learn, like, oh, it is different than that. And her relationship with Bitch has been absolutely the most interesting of the relationships with the other Undersiders. Like, the relationship with Brian has the romantic potential, and there have been some like, important pieces there, but, like, at this point we've had a lot more interesting time with Bitch. We've had more screen time with Lisa. I feel like her relationship with Lisa is just kind of chill, like... Yeah, like, she has a lot of interesting conversations with Lisa, she learns interesting information, but, like, that relationship, like, they relate to each other fine.
And Lisa, by her role as, like, the one introducing Taylor into the group, she's a little older, a little more experienced. I feel like they're not peers. They're not kind of equals yet in their relationship in a certain way.
True.
And what we've seen is, like, there was this initial bit where Bitch was like, I'm going to be above you, Taylor. And Taylor fought back. And then in this arc, I feel like Bitch has pushed back a little bit. And maybe they're at this point where, like, you know,
Bitch
they're
and
kind
Taylor
of on
have
the
a
same
good
level
balance.
in the team.
Yeah, you're right.
Hierarchy.
Taylor and Lisa don't have a balance, really. Lisa is kind of, like, above her in power in the Undersiders. This is why I think Tattletale and Faultline is such a good ship. Despite the fact that we, like, barely see them interact. Because, I mean, that's what Alex said. Faultline's the only one who's smarter than her. And Lisa, like, I think she would just be smug and know-it-all in a relationship with someone that she didn't think was as smart as she was.
Yeah.
She wouldn't be able to have that balance. Like, that's what she needs to have, that balance. And I think Faultline might be the person to give that to her.
Yeah, and I think it's so interesting that Lisa reveals to Taylor something that she's known about Rachel all along.
Oh, yeah.
And Lisa has not put in the effort to build that connection.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a really interesting thing. And I don't know, I mean, I'd be curious what you think, like, whether it's just maybe she just doesn't care to, it's just, like, not
maybe she
her
doesn't
personality.
think it's necessary, or maybe she just doesn't, I think she just doesn't want to. Like, she doesn't really care about having Bitch in the group.
Yeah. Like,
she kind of says the boss, for reasons that I don't know, wants her to be in the group, and so we're keeping her in the group. But, like, she's not motivated, I think.
Right.
Like,
and
it's functional the way it is.
Yeah, and I wonder if the fact that Lisa has to hold her tongue around Bitch just is a bad vibe for her. Like, she's taking this approach of Rachel can't handle the truth, right? It's, like, kind of a little condescending towards her. Yeah. Right.
You really think Rachel doesn't know?
Right, yeah, you really think she doesn't know, and maybe... she's sort of saying, like, I think Alec might let it slip. Maybe if she got too close, she would let it slip. And she probably wouldn't do it in a particularly sensitive way, knowing Lisa.
I think Lisa also, She knows a lot about how things are, and I wonder if that can sometimes cloud the way things can be.
Ooh.
Like, I wonder if that clouds, like, a sense of potential.
Yeah.
Like, if she's like, oh yeah, bitch cannot connect with people like this. She knows that. Lisa knows that.
Yeah.
So, like, she's not going to try to make it different.
The other perspective on it is, so Lisa's known all along. She still chose to present bitch as one of the bad ones, one of the crazy ones, and sort of let this narrative exist for Taylor. And she's very responsive in this scene immediately to Taylor now seeing Rachel as a person and not like a problem to deal with in the group. And I think you could read it like very generously. Like she's like, oh, like I can see that you're building this connection. And so like maybe I can open it up. Or you could read it more sort of transactionally or sinisterly, that she's kind of like, oh, well, like this is how Taylor sees it. So I'm going to relate to Taylor based on how she sees it. It's like a little bit more like she's just playing into what Taylor already is thinking about the situation. It's like very agreeable in a way that, you know.
Yeah, but it sounds like she's already thought through all this. Like, this sounds like something she, like, had on the tip of her tongue to say if anyone ever asked.
So, like, Taylor's kind of earned this secret.
Yeah.
And
Taylor's figured it out.
Maybe happy to finally tell someone
I think Lisa likes telling people what she knows. Thanks for reminding me again. I keep forgetting this thing where Lisa classed her with, like, the bad ones because it just seems so transparently wrong.
Yeah.
And it does make me think, like, Lisa does present as, you know, I don't know if agreeable is the right word, but, like, kind of pleasant, cheerful, you know, friendly. And I think that might be masking, like, she, maybe as much as Brian, doesn't want bitch in the group.
Yeah.
I feel like Taylor might become the glue that keeps bitch in the group. Like, I think Alec likes her fine, but...
Yeah. I guess maybe it's I'm trying to mirror the situation. It's like Lisa also probably wants Taylor in the group. We were talking about how effective that she is, right? And so it could have been earlier, the judgment was like, oh, like, you know, things are so bad between them. I want to, like, you know, pump up Taylor, and that means I'm going to put down bitch. And maybe she just doesn't feel like she has to play into that idea anymore.
Oh, that's a good point.
Now that Taylor's warmed up to her.
Yeah, so maybe, I mean, it might also have been like she was feeling bad about bitch that day, and so put her in that category. I don't know how much that's like this is my permanent judgment on bitch. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's very much something that we've only really heard about in that one expository scene, which was like Lisa being like, let me tell you how things work around here, Taylor. And so it'll be really interesting to see, you know, the next time she talks about that, whether her categories are more nuanced.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you're introducing somebody to a whole new world, you get to kind of put your own spin on it, right?
That's true. And she does love talking, love sharing things, information. This is also reminding me, it's just reinforcing that, like, Lisa's not the heart of the group. She's not going to, like, put in a bunch of work to, like, connect to the slightly estranged member. Yeah. Taylor's the heart of the group. And because I feel, based on my knowledge of her so far, that she will put in that work. Yeah.
And I almost think maybe she's just been focusing on managing bitch, which is, like, not working that well. But, like, the point is, like the way she cut off Brian before Brian was like, you should leave the group, because she's trying to, like, manage from behind.
Right, because she knows the boss wants bitch in the group.
Which
and
is
she's
a little
the one who
bit...
talks to the boss. So she is more invested in that than Brian is.
Yeah, the Undersiders have some stuff that they need to bring up and talk about. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things. Well, that's why it's a good thing they have a heart now. It's one of those things where there's like a conflict between two members of a family, and the person you ask to change is the one who's much less problematic, because you're like, they're reasonable. I can get them to accept, you know.
Yeah.
So I think she probably sees the Brian bitch conflict or Brian Rachel conflict like that, where she's like, okay, well, I can manage Brian. Bitch is too difficult. Like, I'm going to manage Brian, and that will keep things smooth enough.
I don't know that we've seen a lot of Lisa Rachel direct interaction, so that'll be interesting to see.
Just sort of the psychoanalysis, quote unquote, in that chapter earlier this arc. But no, I mean, bitch hasn't been on the page that much.
One thing that I loved, though, is Lisa doesn't want to tell Brian about how bitch's mind works because he's too transparent.
Yeah, she doesn't want to say honest.
Which is ironic, given his power.
Oh, that's such a good point. That was kind of a fun read on people, where she's like, yeah, Brian is, I don't want to say too honest, but he's transparent and bitch can read him. Alec would forget and let it slip as part of a joke. He doesn't get the gravity of stuff sometimes. Yeah. That sounds right. I mean, Alec is also like much more of a kid than Brian, who's kind of had to grow up in a few key ways, in addition to being several years older. But it is fascinating that Bitch can read Brian, but they still have this much conflict.
Yeah.
Bitch can read Brian, but he doesn't have a scent. I mean, I don't think Bitch has enhanced senses like a dog, but it is notable that Lisa thinks that Brian is easily readable to Bitch's sort of like dog brain, or for lack of a better term, I guess. But Brian is missing one of these huge markers of dog communication.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Right. You wonder, it would be fascinating if that was a Watsonian reason that it's not working out between the two of them. Right. Like I'm not sure we would, that seems like the kind of thing, if it gets confirmed or deconfirmed later in the text, I'd be really surprised. But it's like a really fun detail to think about.
Well, like, again,
there's so many other, it's very
Bitch doesn't have a dog nose. Having like a dog-influenced brain, like, she couldn't smell him. As far as I know, it could be her power gave her that, but... Yeah, I mean, do you want to get into the powerness of it all with Bitch, but also with Taylor and Labyrinth? Right, so this arises out of Taylor's realization that powers can change how you think. They can mess with your brain in addition to giving you these abilities. And she's worried. She's like, yeah, when I first got this power, it like really overwhelmed me. And she doesn't ask Tattletale, but Tattletale thinks she's going to ask, you want to know if there's anything wrong with you that you don't know about? No, I shook my head. Wait, is there? Nah. But... there is something different with her. Those bugs delivered the money. She didn't know it was happening.
Yeah.
Her brain was doing that because, again, we talked about it last time. Like, I don't think the bugs were doing that. We talked about it 2 times ago, I guess.
Right.
It's not like she gave the instruction to the bugs and they all figured out how to work together, because bugs do not think like that. Like, that would not be possible for them. Some part of her cognition was still working on that and got all those roaches to work together to fly the money.
Yeah.
Where, like, the roaches didn't know where the others were. Like,
right.
They didn't have a sense of, like, oh, I packaged the money. I should do something with this. Like, no, there was some part of Taylor's mind chugging away at that, and she wasn't even aware of it. Her brain was, like, expanded. Like, it must have been, like, to be able to do these things. Like, at least what it is capable of was expanded, even if it didn't, like, physically expand. But no wonder it was so overwhelming to suddenly have so much more brain.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good way to put it. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I want to read Taylor's initial reaction, because Neuter is talking about Labyrinth and explaining about powers, and says, sometimes it fucks up your head, bad luck, but you deal with the cards you're dealt. Oh, I replied. I wasn't sure how to respond. A cold, quiet horror crept up on me. My powers had something to do with my brain. I could remember how crazy I'd felt right after my powers showed up, that torrent of nightmare images, signals, and details from my bugs. I still had bad dreams about it. How close had I come to being like that permanently?
Yeah. I mean, I think she sort of is, but like, she can handle it.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, to your point, there's some moreness there.
Well, what is it that we only use, like, so much of our brain? I don't know if that's real, but, like, if there are parts of our brain that aren't, part of normal brain function, then it is possible that her power was able to, like, hijack those and convert them to, like, a bug handling center.
Yeah, well, there was some really interesting language when Lisa's talking about Bitch. She says her power adjusted how she thinks, which I thought was such an interesting phrase.
So invasive.
Right.
You don't have a choice.
Right, exactly.
I mean, that's what Neuter was saying, yeah.
The agent, where is the agency here? And again, talking about Taylor, like, Taylor told the bugs to go and meet up with Neuter, right? But she didn't, right? It's this interesting, is it a subconscious thing? Like, what is going on there?
Paraconsciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, Neuter's point, which kind of set up Taylor for this realization, is that, the power does stuff to you and you can't always control it. Like, it's not just a new weapon in your arsenal. It might be a drastic change to your body, like happened to him. It's like, his power is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, he can do so. He can cling to walls. He can move super fast. He can knock people out with his hallucinogenic bodily fluids and touch. he has resistance to any kind of infection or disease.
Yeah.
Like, he really, like, turned the tide of that initial battle. Like, he's so powerful. But, like, the side effect is awful.
Yeah.
And like he said, like, you know, not everyone rolls the dice and comes up with a good number. Like,
yeah.
It's, play the hand you're dealt, or whatever that is. And it seems like Fault Line's whole crew is maybe like that. I mean, we don't know about all of them. But Labyrinth, it seems it's like that. Like, something about her power just...
Right. Well, I want to connect a couple of things, right? What we learned about Fault Line's crew, I think, in Interlude 2, when they're first mentioned, is like, oh, she's the one with the freaks.
Yeah.
And what we have learned is we have Neuter and Gregor both show up as like, oh, they physically stand out as being capes.
Yeah.
And what we learn about Labyrinth is she hasn't been the same. Her power really altered her mind.
Yeah.
And
she can't interact with the world in sort of the typical way.
Right. Taylor, in kind of a clumsy way, maybe compares it to autism.
Yeah. Well,
but I think that's the connection that we're meant to make, especially given Bitch, I don't know, being Flip, I would say, like, her power, she has, like, dog autism. She
I mean, that did make me think of that, like, inability to read those, like, conversational
the point is
cues.
she can't read human social cues. She has to use a different part of her brain to really focus and concentrate.
And she kind of probably knows,
that.
Like, oh, okay, that's not a dog thing they're doing. Like, they're not necessarily showing aggression, but I don't know what they do mean.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you know, I don't know. There are other parts of her that read... I think the read of Bitch is autistic is there. She has one thing that she's really into, which is dogs. She has kind of a really strong heightened sense of justice, which is another attribute that you could read that way. But Fault Line's crew, they're people who can't fit into society anymore because of what their powers have done to them, but in a way that is like a direct analog to physical and mental disability. It's like, can they, when you look at them or like interact with them, is it obvious that they don't fit in?
Yeah. And
the thing that jumped out to me is like Taylor has this horror about, like, does she fit in? Like, how could my ability to blend into society have been taken from me? And I guess the thing that stands out to me about Fault Line's crew is that, like, they're the capes that can't mask.
Yeah. Yes.
Anymore, right? They can't blend into society the way that Taylor can. And sort of the idea of capes having a secret identity and then being able to be like a normal human and not just a parahuman isn't not something that everybody has. And it's super interesting. I just really like that theme comes together and is like made super explicit in this chapter.
Yeah, and Bitch is the only member of the Undersiders who's sort of in that boat. And they don't have her there voluntarily. Like, the boss has specifically said, like, I want her in this group. And it seems like Brian definitely, possibly also Lisa, would get rid of her if they could.
Yeah.
Because the rest of them are all, like, you know, able to function normally outside of their supervillain activities.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lot of patience for her inability to.
Yeah.
I bet she would actually fit in better in Fault Line's crew. So
That's
they
fascinating.
seem to be, you know, welcoming of that kind of thing.
Well, I think that's a great point.
Yeah, if you're like neurotypical and like physically abled, like, you know, it's easy to get impatient and be like, well, my life is like, why do I have to put up this person who makes everything more difficult? Things are easy for me, you know.
And I love that we see Neuter is so kind and compassionate towards Labyrinth.
Neuter.
The way that he talks about her, the way that he's walking with her.
And she clearly cared. Like, she was so rattled by him getting injured.
Yeah, and I understand where Taylor's coming from with, like, well, I can't communicate with her. But it also goes to show how easy it is to
brush her off.
To write somebody off,
write
right?
her off, yeah.
If Taylor had put in the same effort that she'd been putting in with Bitch a little earlier, right? You know, like, there are bridges that could be made there.
Yeah.
And it's so tough to see. It's so tough to see that kind of like calculation of like, oh, well, I'm writing Labyrinth off, right? Even though,
and that's what I think Lisa and Brian kind of want to do with Rachel.
Yeah.
So it is, I'm really curious what the draft or thoughts or whatever it was that Wildbow had when Fault Line's crew was kind of the main group in the story. Like, I think you said he explored a storyline that kind of centered them. I'd be so curious to know.
Yeah, and I wonder if that was part of the dynamic. Also, we don't see that, as far as I can tell, Fault Line masks perfectly fine in comparison to the rest of her crew. Like,
right.
We don't know
we don't know that
enough.
she has any of those difficulties fitting into normal society. Yeah, well, it is interesting. Alex said that Fault Line was smarter than Lisa. Like, it was like Fault Line figured out how to use all of these people with these different challenges, how to like blend them into a group that...
I mean, honestly, that sounds like something that Taylor would be good at.
Oh, Taylor would be so good at. Well, that's why the Undersiders need her. Because they need her to integrate Bitch because they weren't doing a good enough job of it on their own.
Yeah.
Like, it was passable, but, I mean, Brian especially seems to be last nerve.
I think, I do just really like the note of empathy, right? Just Bitch's arc so far has been presented as like, she sucks, she's mean, she's aggressive, she's difficult, she has a personality disorder, she was so traumatized, she can never be normal again. And to have that recontextualized into like, oh, she's not neurotypical. Yeah. Right? It's like, it's really, it's what you want narratively, but it's also just like really nice
it's so hard
to dig in and find that empathy. And Taylor even connects it at the end of the chapter just to be like, oh, like this experience I had with like a kid in school who was like, you know, trying to be funny to compensate because he was having trouble reading.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because, in fact, this all was caused by trauma. Like, Bitch had a bad childhood. Like, she had a really bad experience. That gave her powers. The powers resulted in her mind not working in a normal way. Or in a typical way, I guess I should say. And that is, like, sort of the... taking something that happens in the real world and like making it concrete in this like supernatural way, which is something that like this kind of story is so good at. It's sort of the Buffy thing where like girl gets ignored in high school and then she turns invisible. Taking those real world phenomena and making them more literal.
Yeah, and I love it. I mean, it's great. Bitch's power is that she is like the best dog trainer in the world, right? Like that is awesome. That is such a cool. You know, Taylor's a little horrified by like what is the cost potentially, but
it's okay. She'll be able to connect to Taylor because Taylor will put in the work.
Yeah.
Speaking of masking for society, Taylor has a dragon-shaped handprint bruise on her.
Oh,
yeah. So she says like, I'm not going to be able to hide this from my dad. I'm very curious if she's correct about that. I mean, I think she'll try. She can probably, like, you know, wear a big hoodie and just kind of, her dad will be like, oh, she's depressed, hiding in her room a lot. Like, I bet she's not going to go back to school right away. The bully problems continue. She will probably try to hide it, but I wonder if this is leading up to Danny finding something out.
Ooh, yeah.
Because he really cares, and he's aware of bully problem. He's aware of the new friends. He's not aware of problems in that area.
Yeah, I mean, the physical toll that her hero villain heroics. Yeah, it's been mounting, and it really is quite a statement about what she's done, that it looks like she's been hanged. Yeah.
Even if if she manages to skate through on this injury, like, I feel like the trajectory is that Danny's going to find out soon.
Ooh, yeah. It's, right. It's impossible to hide. It's printed on her.
I wonder if we're going to get an arc of, like, Danny being horrified and disapproving and coming around to her side. Or if we're going to get, like, him immediately being like, well, this seems dangerous and awful, but I'm going to support you in it because I am not someone who holds out for the perfect at the cost of the good. Like, if all I can do... It's like when you find out someone you know is in an abusive relationship and you're like, this is awful, you should get out. And then if they don't listen to you, all you can really do is be there for them and you can't argue against them all the time. I suspect that Danny would have...
Keeping those connections is...
And the most important thing to Danny is not alienating her. Yeah. He's been so good at that throughout the whole bullying thing, like not pushing, not asking too much. So I think he would navigate that pretty well. I don't think he would, like... he and Taylor both have a journey of, like, actually being on the Undersiders side, or at least not being on the Protectorate side. So I don't think he would, immediately be there. But, yeah, I suspect he would handle it well.
All right.
Not burn that bridge.
Good prediction. fiction.
Yeah. Going back to Bitch's jacket.
Yeah.
I realize we probably have bigger things to talk about. But
I don't know. I think the most romantic chapter in Worm is a really big and worthy topic of conversation.
True. But it was just so cute. Okay, so jacket's too big for her. The canvas down jacket with a fur ruff collar. Wrong size for me, and it was heavy. The pockets I found as I tried to jam my hands in there were filled with stuff. A mess of plastic bags, chocolate bars, protein bars, juice box, pellets that were ground together, what I guessed were dog treats or dog food. Not exactly Cape supplies. All in all, it was almost uncomfortable. It's just like such adorable pocket contents.
Yeah, it could not be more different from Taylor's inventory.
Bitch is very good at one thing, like you said. She's not like maxing out her like effectiveness in other ways. But she does, I guess plastic bags are probably like poop bags. And then she has like snacks for herself and snacks for the dogs. And it's just so cute. And it's also like makes me think of the foster kid background, like sort of the hoarding food, like having food in your pockets because you don't have like a safe place to keep it. Mm-hmm. You aren't guaranteed like a, food supply. All in all, it was almost uncomfortable, but it was warm.
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned yet. A few pages earlier, Bitch notices the scar on Taylor's neck before she does.
Yes!
When Bitch reached for my face, I startled. She put one hand on the side of my face, and for just a fraction of a second, I thought something incredibly awkward was about to happen.
Taylor thought that Bitch was going to kiss her.
I'm just saying.
It entered her
I'm just
mind.
saying.
Then she wrenched my head to enough of a tilt that it was almost horizontal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, most romantic chapter.
Yeah.
Bitch almost kisses her. Then she gives her jacket.
It's just,
Taylor figures out her innermost secrets.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really do just it's fun dialogue, right? Just reading on, thank you, I told her, floored by the gesture. You need something to cover your neck. People would stare. Doesn't matter, thank you. And then she smiles. Mistake. You already said that. It's mine, I can take it back. Of course. Do you want to? Right?
It's so
good. And then they're like, I'll pay you to answer me. The fact that she's like, okay, so look, Bitch, I just want to know, I was asking you that question and you were having a difficult moment, what did you see that I was being sarcastic, or did you think I was genuine? And she's like, dunno. Give me the money. Dunno. I answered your question. It's so funny. I
mean, she kind of says dunno, and then Taylor's like, fine, whatever, money's yours. That easy? Like, I think she did expect there to be more.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I think that there's a lot of potential here, and it's the most genuine and, like you said, sort of deepest friendship that she's developed.
Well, it just has so much potential.
Yeah.
Like, Bitch needs someone who can communicate with her, and Taylor could become that person. I think she has based on what I know of her, she is likely to, and she would be capable of it.
Yeah.
With some trial and error.
I also thought it was interesting, we had this moment in the last chapter where Bitch comes and jumps on Loong, and in this chapter, Taylor asks, hey, why did you do that?
Right, she, is careful not to be confrontational about it.
And Bitch says she came back to fight. Sort of she didn't need, because the medic was there, she didn't need to stay behind. So it's not that she came back to rescue Taylor, or at least she doesn't admit that that's potentially a reason why she came back. But what Bitch testifies to is that she wanted to fight Loong, and that's why she came back.
I mean, she doesn't, I don't know if she really says that. The other soldiers said he was a trained medic, told me he could handle it, so I came back to fight. That's not necessarily why she came back. That's what she came back to do. That's
true. That's fair. Maybe I should be more charitable.
She doesn't really provide a lot of motivation in that statement. Let's talk about Taylor's reflections on the eye gouging.
Yeah,
the maiming.
Let's get into it.
The great maiming of the dragon.
Yeah.
I'm glad Sundancer brings it up. It sort of took the sting out of... I was like, are people going to react to this badly? And then Sundancer kind of brings it up right away in the chapter, and then no one else really addresses it the entire time.
Well, they don't know.
They don't know. It's true.
This is the thing with Taylor and Neuter, right? They don't really know.
Yeah, they have such a nice interaction.
Happened.
Taylor's generous with the money. They connect about
But I was kind of like, Taylor, why didn't you talk about the cool thing you did with Neuter's blood? I kind of be like, there's a synergy.
Bragging, right?
Right. Yeah, she doesn't want to to brag. But I guess also maybe she doesn't want to have to admit, and then I carved out his eyes, you know. She doesn't reflect on it at all.
I can't imagine saying that out loud. Like, joining your allies, you took out Loom. They don't ask, and you're just like, oh yeah, by the way, I cut his eyes out. Like, no.
Yeah. But Sundancer's also like, you guys need to hear this, because it was so messed up.
Yeah.
But maybe when she gets back to the Travelers.
Oh, I'm sure she'll tell them. So, I mean, it would be irresponsible not to tell them about this thing that went down. So Sundancer says, I can't believe you carved out his eyes. He'll heal, I pointed out, eventually. You blinded someone who is helpless to fight back. That's kind of fucked up. It's like so mild. Like, like that's kind of fucked up. Yeah. So Taylor says, you know, fucked up or not, it had been necessary. I couldn't have dealt with it if I'd known we left him there and he got back to business as usual by the end of the day. I guess that's the thing, like, she didn't know that the PRT or whatever would be able to get there in time to arrest him again.
Yeah.
And yeah, otherwise their whole victory could have just led to nothing, not actually taken him out. And she does say, you know, she's like, okay, all right. I was willing to admit that maybe the means were a little suspect. I'd fought alongside some fucked up people. I'd maimed him. By letting Fenya, Menya, and Kaiser go, I'd sort of condoned what they'd done to Loom's men. But in the end, it was what I'd wanted to do when I'd wanted to be a superhero. I'd taken down a horrible person. So she's very ends justify the means. Like, she is not squeamish about this stuff.
Yeah.
Which I do think would not go well with the Protectorate. Like, she didn't want to join the wards, but she does want to be, like, maybe not in the Protectorate, but she wants the Protectorate to think she's cool.
Yeah.
Like, she wants to be friends with the Protectorate. And I don't know that heroes in this world would be willing to be so, like, you know, you do what you have to do about stuff. Like, I feel like her fundamental philosophy of this would be in conflict with them.
Yeah.
Like, not leaving aside any questions of, like, are they hypocrites? Like, are they actually doing good? Like, I think just, like, her approach to fighting evil is not compatible with theirs.
Yeah. And it's not just, like, this was the pragmatic thing to do, but this is the only way to get to the outcome I want, right? It's the consequentialism, you know, like, behind the thinking. She put so much into the fact that it was necessary, right?
Yeah.
But she then goes on to say, I just hoped the heroes could clean up the mess and get Loom behind bars for good this time. Which I think is the weakness in that argument, right? There is a little bit of futility or narrow-mindedness in this kind of, like, what she says is, like, this is what I wanted to do. Like, go 1v1 and take down a horrible person. Mm-hmm. But then at the end, she's, like, waving her hands and hoping the heroes clean it up, right? Like, her whole argument breaks down if Loom escapes, if he is not captured, right, in the first place, right? Like, I
don't think so, because, I mean, I think that's why she blinded him, because she wasn't sure that he would be captured. She hopes, like, the ideal outcome is he gets captured, but either way, he's not going to be functioning the way he was. Like, I think that's why she felt like she had to blind him, because she didn't know how long the heroes would take to get there. She didn't know how long he'd be unconscious. He could easily have just walked away. But of course, she's hoping the heroes do catch him.
I guess, why wasn't it necessary for her to, like, stay behind and make sure to like, do more?
What more could she have done? Like, do you think that, like, she should have tried to arrest him? Like, like, leaving it to the heroes to clean up is sort of the...
Yeah, I guess that, what I'm getting at is, like, it's really hard to say, you know, this was necessary to keep Loom off the street, to make sure that he was incapacitated enough that the heroes could take him to jail, right? Like, if you are kind of throwing your hands up about making sure those subsequent steps come into play, right? Mm-hmm. She has this very much, like, I'm focused on the ends here, but she's not really in control enough just as a single person to have much of an impact on what those ends are.
I see what you're saying. I think it wasn't so much, I have to do this so that he can be arrested. I think it was more, I have to do this. I hope he'll be arrested anyway, but if I do this, then even if he's not arrested, he will not be on the streets in quite the same way he was before.
Right, yeah.
I think it's like him being arrested would be the bonus. Like, she has already taken care of it. She has no control over whether or not he'll be arrested. She can't control the response time of the PRT. She has no idea if they'll come fast or slow, and she doesn't know how long he'll be unconscious. She can only control, I will not let him come back on the streets in the way he was before.
Yeah. I'm trying not to. I don't want to say what's going to happen, but it seems like if it doesn't end with him being taken off the board for good, this seems like an escalatory tactic.
I mean,
because
that
he
is
will
true.
heal and he will have even more motivation to come after her.
I mean, I thought she was going to cut his head off, so...
Well, right. Well, I mean, but that's kind of and that's the other question is, like, why not just kill him? Like,
Yeah,
if that's,
yeah.
you know...
I think killing someone in cold blood is not maybe a step too far, but maybe somewhere she'll get to by the end of this story.
Yeah, yeah.
So I remembered, I came downstairs after we recorded last time and I had a prediction that did not get on mic last time. I think that this will in fact escalate things. I think the ABB is going to end up cutting out Taylor's eyes.
An eye for an eye.
Yeah, basically. She cut out 2 eyes, they'll cut out 2 of her eyes. But she can see through her bugs. She's going to have bug vision. I think she's going to be going around at some point in this story with bugs sitting in her empty eye sockets, seeing for her. It's going to be the creepiest
So not just her bug
looking
proprioception,
thing.
but like she'll actually have bugs that she can see through.
I want that because I think it's the best image.
Yeah, yeah.
Either
I
way,
love that.
she'll
I
be
love
using
that.
bug proprioception and she'll be using the bug like vision or whatever. You know, they have limited vision, and she'll probably track down bugs with good vision like dragonflies or whatever.
Yeah, very Animorphs. That's
Very
great.
Animorphs. And I think eventually she will end up allied with Panacea for some reason, and Panacea will heal her.
Right? I mean, that's a great point. Is right. So,
But I think she'll spend a lot of this story with bug vision only.
Yeah. Loomspower, the fact that he can heal so easily is the thing that gives her license to be so brutal in maiming him.
But they're going to maim her
but
anyway.
that's kind of this kind of thing is like, if, you know, you're next to Panacea, it's kind of like anything goes, right?
Well, I mean, I think it'll be a long time.
I know, but like, I'm just kind of saying, like, that's kind of the messed up thing about the slippery slope here, right? It's like depending on the access to a healing factor means the places you can take the violence are a lot more harrowing to consider.
I think this in particular because, so I have not read Pact, I haven't read any other Wild Bow works, but Ted read Pact and told me about it in great detail while he was reading it. And I just feel like based on what I saw in that, I feel like Wild Bow is someone who would let Taylor lose her eyes and rely on bug vision. It just seems right.
That's a very fun, like, impossible to know. I don't even know exactly what makes you think that about the story, but
I don't want to spoil Pact for
Pact,
anyone.
But it's fun that you have some insight into what Wild Bow might have in store for you.
It just feels right.
Yeah, yeah. I also think it's really interesting that part of Taylor is like, after I saw what Kaiser did, I should have immediately taken them out.
Yeah.
And I sort of assume, she doesn't say why she didn't, I sort of assume it's the rationalization that she was using with Bitch, which is like, I can't turn on them because they'll kill Lisa and Brian and Alec.
That is true. She didn't have them wholly in her power. She also, like...
Didn't have the capacity.
Could she have? She just fought Loong and, like, barely survived and then was busy, you know, cutting out his eyes. Like... Menya was still fully functional. I think Menya would have stopped anything she tried to do to the other two.
But she could fly a caterpillar into her eye.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Right. But yeah, she wasn't like... It would have been quite ruthless, like quite a leap to suddenly attack her allies.
Yeah.
Because they tortured some, not exactly innocents, but people they didn't have to.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been, I mean, talk about your escalatory actions. Like, that wouldn't have been necessary in the way that what she did to Loong felt necessary to her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think...
She didn't give them any money.
Yeah, I think part of the reason that I really struggle to connect with Taylor on this decision is the like, vigilante approach. Like, I really struggle with one person taking on the, like, moral responsibility of, like, this violence is necessary without, you know, being sort of like, well, I'm going to do the violence, I'm going to do the best that I can, but at the end of the day, I'm part of some larger group, a military, a country, something that potentially can pass judgment and decide whether or not
and she's
the thing that I did was
very
good.
much on her own.
And so I'm just always suspicious of the well, it was necessary, and I decided that it was necessary, and I know best.
I mean, she was kind of the only person in a position to decide it at that moment, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, I'm not questioning necessarily the in the moment thing, but the fact that she's going into this world as like, I'm going to be a vigilante.
Right. She's like, this is what I'm here to do.
Yeah. It's really the downside of flying solo in terms of the,
you need a swarm.
The moral calculation of things. Yeah.
I do think what you said about it being escalatory, I think that is very true. I think she probably should have killed him. I don't know that he did anything to deserve that, but from a very practical perspective, probably would have been better. Maybe if she'd killed him, the ABB would have come after her even harder, and like they do have an assassin.
Yeah, well, and that's why the unwritten rules are there, sort of, It's going to be really interesting to see, again, what the consequences are, not determined yet, but also what the unforeseen consequences are of what she did. And how that affects her thinking going forward. This is only Arc 5, so...
It's true. Early. 8% in, my ebook tells me. So, brief Animorphs aside, it's funny, like, in some ways she is the Cassie of the group. She's the heart. She has a connection to animals, specifically bugs. But she's very much like Marco in how she thinks. Like, she's very ruthless.
Yeah.
And doesn't back down from the hard thing. Like, has this sense of like, oh, this is necessary. And she's very good at thinking like, oh, if I do this thing, then this other thing will result.
The most distilled, like, Marco anecdote is like he thinks about his thought process is like he sees the line from A to B. He sees every step along the way.
Clear line.
And he doesn't need to think about whether it's good or not. He just sees what has to happen. And that's very much.
And I think Taylor's not like she does
here.
have a little bit. Well, I mean, Marco's also not amoral, but I think they both have this sense of like, here's what needs to happen. Oh, I can see how to get there. Well, then I should do it. Yeah.
Loon's a bad guy. Like, there's nothing that we've seen in the story that suggests otherwise. Yeah. And Taylor is the kind of person who is firmly, like, he's made his choice to run the ABB and be a bad guy. And so that's really, more so than his healing factor, the excuse for her to take him down.
I mean, in addition to these people who are packaging drugs, like, it does seem like Bucket was not in charge. Tattletale told us that. He presumably told her to plant bombs on all these people. Like, he was leading the ABB when that happened. So, everything bad that the ABB has done so far in this story, we can assume is at least approved by him, if not initiated by him.
The Animorphs connection I was going to make is the discussion of morality in this chapter is very Animorphs morality. One of my favorite things about the Animorphs is they'll have the super, like, weighty, like, well, should we do this or should we do this? Like, what if innocents get hurt? And, like, what would that mean about whether we could sleep at night? And then they'll be like, yeah, but they're about to get away, so let's go. Right? It takes 2 or 3 pages, and then they move on. Right? That very pragmatic...
They're kind of calling out, this is the conflict.
Yeah.
Okay, but we have to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, the Animorphs do make choices on the side of, like, nope, we're not doing that thing because we think that's, like, inherently wrong.
Yes, I'm not saying the Animorphs would make this choice. But the way that it was handled
in, like,
with the brief
40s,
discussion.
Like 40 books in.
And I wanted to say,
this choice.
Yeah, you said Sundancer was chill. I honestly read it as like, if I'm going up to somebody and I want to call them out, I'm not necessarily going to go in at like a temperature that's like all the way up to 11.
Yeah.
I might just be like, oh, so like you said that thing and that was really mean, that thing you said, right? Like you sort of phrase it as like a question and see how they respond before letting known your true feelings about what they did.
The chillest aspect of it was that she brought it up at all. Like, she wasn't like, this girl is terrifying, just be silent, just walk next to her in silence. Like, I think also just having someone bring it up, I was like, oh, okay, it's been brought up. I'm not waiting for that shoe to drop. Yeah. So that's my thoughts on the chapter. The most romantic chapter yet.
Yeah, let me look at my notes.
Morality.
Yeah, I want to see if there's any other little details. Coil's medic seems just as competent as Coil's sniper.
Yeah. Coil's gang really has it together.
He drugs up the injured sniper and then like wears him like a backpack and runs off down the street. He's like, it's like, we gotta go, and then he runs away.
I'm so curious to know what Coil's gang gets up to. I mean, they're clearly bad guys just in that they're identified as a villain gang. But
they go back to their warehouse where all 150 of them live, and they get on the couch and they watch TV.
I'm totally picturing them as clones of each other. This is like Clone Wars.
Sorry, that's not what you meant at all.
No. They're so competent. I love Herman Snipes. Like, I want to like these guys, but I'm sure we'll find out that they're actually just, like, extorting everyone they protect and, like, killing all their enemies and gouging people's eyes out when they're unconscious.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, they're just professional soldiers. Maybe Coyle... he pays really well, so that's...
It's just like security, They're just keeping things chill on the streets.
Lots of people who can be competent in a normal way.
Costume.
Yeah. Just because your boss is weird doesn't mean you have to be weird.
It's true.
There was a little Sumbug moment.
Oh.
Brian is barely in this chapter, but when he takes off his helmet, he's grinning at Taylor. And Taylor's like, and I got the most attention because I was the most injured. So I'm imagining an extended sequence of them all cooing over her.
She didn't tell them about gouging out the eyes.
Yeah, at least not on screen. She tells Lisa she's feeling better about the school thing. Fascinating that we don't get any more than that. But yeah.
I mean, how do you not feel better about the school thing after taking down a dragon and gouging out his eyes? You're like, these bullies at school, whatever.
Yeah. I loved the bit where Bitch and Taylor are riding away and it's like this like rule of cool thing with her hair that gets lampshaded where she's like, I kind of wish I'd been able to finish the helmet on my costume, but actually it was awesome that my hair was flowing out from, behind my helmet as I was bounding away through the city on this dog. And I was like, that is really cool. I hope you never finish your helmet.
What if gouging people's eyes out becomes Taylor's calling card? A little against her will.
Oh, God.
And what if she eventually has to gouge out Emma's eyes?
I think you just came up with this theory because you want this to happen.
Yes, I want Emma's eyes to be gouged out.
Oh, boy. I don't know if I can get behind that. She's pretty bad, but...
Well, circumstances would have to demand it.
Yeah. Once she reveals her power, and she's on the hero team, and she's working with Panacea, and so that we know that she can be healed. Yeah.
No, but I bet Taylor will figure out a way to do damage and make it stick so that Panacea can't heal it.
Yeah.
So that Emma can have to not have any eyes ever. Prediction? Wishful thinking?
Oh, did you have more thoughts about Labyrinth's power? There's this really cool sequence of like, she basically turns a manhole into a marble spiral staircase descending down into the depths, and then they walk down it.
Right, so it does seem like what she does to the world can be solid.
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's really baffling to me.
Yeah.
It seems...
Maybe we'll find out more. Yeah. But right, definitely confirmed not always or not ever. Just hallucinations?
Right, like when Oni Lee was like teleporting around, it seems like he thought the ground was somewhere it wasn't.
Yeah.
So it's not like the ground was just there for him and in a different place for everyone else. So, I don't know. It's baffling to me, yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Oh, I was thinking, I had the theory like maybe she's like accessing some like different time or place or dimension and like we're looking into that and maybe she can also open portals into, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, off in her own world, in a better place.
True.
It's very interesting. Yeah, the last thing that I thought was really interesting was connecting this, like, the fact that Taylor is insecure about kind of like the close call with, what her power might have done to her brain. Or like I have a power that affects my brain. And then Lisa both saying like, oh, well, like, bitch can't handle the truth. But also, oh, you're worried if there's something wrong with you? Nah. And she brushes it off right away. Like, now I'm not trying to tell
Lisa
you...
doesn't necessarily tell the truth.
Yeah. But, like, I love this as, like, a way to think about characters in a story. Like, what observation could somebody make about you that would, like, totally shatter your self-image? And, like, this kind of, like, insecurity of Taylor's, like, but, like, I'm normal, right? Like, things are okay with me, right? The way that she's, like...
fly money to my friends without my realizing it, but it's fine.
Yeah. And that kind of, like, if the not knowing something about yourself that is obvious to other people. I think that's a really interesting, an interesting theme that was coming through for me here, and something that I hope we'll see more of.
Although I don't know if she suspects it would be obvious to other people. It's more like Lisa would know.
Well, right. But I mean, in the way that somebody, not everybody, but that somebody could see about you.
I mean, we do know she has her, like, Pigpen-esque bug halo at all times.
No, but that's exactly right. Right. If she does, would she mention it? Would anyone be brave enough to mention it to her?
Would Lisa ever tell her? No. Bitch would tell her.
Danny would tell her.
Danny would tell her. He'd be like, so, how clean is your room these days?
Well, I know we've been podcasting for a while, but we've got a little bit more to do.
I mean, I should think if I have predictions, such as who the next interlude is going to be about.
Fair.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that before or after we do cape names?
Oh, we should do it before.
All right.
Because sometimes cape names reveal things.
All right.
Oh, we gotta go back to the heroes. It's been so long. I want to see them taking in Loom. We probably won't, but I want to see that.
Nice. Whose perspective would we get?
Armsmaster.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. It's probably better to see Armsmaster from the outside, but...
Well, I have some questions about what's going on with him and how is he feeling about Skitter Taylor.
I mean, Taylor's being really effective at taking out bad guys, but...
Right, and presumably he hasn't sort of filed the paperwork about her.
Right.
Presumably he's been... Or if he has, then Lisa hasn't told Taylor what she knows, right? Like, that's the next step in that chain of events. So... fascinating. All right, that's an exciting thing that you hope to see.
I think the next arc, I mean, we'll see the fallout with the ABB. We might get some fallout with the heroes. She really has to get in touch with Armsmaster at some point, or vice versa. I guess he can't really reach her. I want to see Taylor interacting with Bitch, furthering that relationship. I'm really excited to see that. I hope that does actually happen. And I think we're going to get more trouble with the other gangs, or we might get more, like... had a lot of really positive interactions with Neuter. I would love to see the Undersiders entering into some sort of alliance with Fault Line's gang for some sort of short-term purpose.
Ooh,
like a little bit
fun.
Like more closely allied than everyone allied against the ABB.
Yeah, we can keep sort of like broadening the aperture around Taylor, seeing more.
Because also the ABB hasn't been taken down, but some severe blows have been struck, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of cleanup the combined villain teams have to do.
Sure.
But now that these blows have been struck, I think that the coalition is going to weaken. And Taylor has now emerged as this, like, rather terrifying figure, bringing the Undersiders more into people's radar, and, like, you know, Kaiser's pretty worried about them probably at this point. So I think, like, the Undersiders might need a little bit of reinforcements. Like, if Fault Line's gang and the Undersiders are the only ones that, like, aren't trying to, like, get the advantage here, then, I mean, I don't know that the Fault Line's gang isn't, but, like, that might be an occasion for at least some negotiation between the two of them to have each other's backs in some way. Yeah. And I just want to see more of Fault Line and Co.
Nice. Yeah, hopefully we get that. Hopefully we get that soon.
I also want to see Herman Snipes again.
Yeah. Potential interlude character.
That would be great. We really don't know that much about Coil's gang.
Well, I have, for the first time in a while, some cape names.
Okay, great.
Are you excited about them? Yeah. Shamrock.
Oh, the luck of the Irish. Shamrock makes fake rocks.
Love that.
No, but like an earthbender power.
Clock blocker level name. Okay, Shamrock the Earthbender.
Yes.
Sybil with 2 L's. Sybil.
Oh, is Sybil a prophet? Yeah, Sybil's gonna see the future. Okay. Or it could be a snake power. Sort of like Coil. Okay. Like a sibilant type of, Yeah,
could be either.
I don't, like... Who is Sybil? It's like a mythological person.
Sybil is your all-knowing AI sales assistant. Nope. The Sybils were oracles or prophetesses in ancient Greece. Yeah. So, yeah, Delphi.
It's a role rather than a person. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think she probably gets prophecies. I'm sure it's not like she can just see everything that happens in the future and just absolutely know, but I'm sure it's much more confusing even than Tattletale's power. But yeah, I think some future telling.
All right. Scarab.
Scarab. I'm immediately going to the opening of Aladdin being like, what was that scarab? So scarab is a type of beetle. It's like it's used in like iconography, but I'm not sure what it represents. There's sort of a skittery aspect to them.
True.
Someone who Skitter could control, maybe. I think it's going to be one of the travelers.
Oh,
That's
fun.
not a power, but I feel like maybe these are all the travelers. Who knows? That would be cool.
No, that's true. That's true. All right. Myrddin. Possibly Myrddin. I think Myrddin. Myrddin.
Okay, so like Welsh.
Yeah.
Then I don't know how to pronounce Welsh. It feels like a word that I should know the meaning of, but I do not.
I guess what I'll tell you is, Myrddin.
Yeah.
It would be a th instead of so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've read Myrddin in my head up until now, but I
yeah.
guess it would be Myrddin, and that is the Welsh form of Merlin.
Of Merlin. Yeah. Okay. I was wondering about that. So someone who lives backwards.
Oh.
Yeah. Sort of a Benjamin Button type power.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. And then, speaking of tricky pronunciations.
Okay.
Chevalier.
Chevalier.
Pronounced by the Worm fandom as Chevalier.
How dare they? So we have Chevalier. So like a knight.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if it's someone who like controls horses, like bitch controls dogs. Or, I mean, I guess I was going to say like ability to like conjure metal, but we've got that already. It's like, could create armor and weaponry and stuff. I do want there to be a real horse connection because that's like what the word means.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's someone who has like a huge monster horse.
Amazing.
Or someone who can turn into a huge monster horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. I love that for Chevalier.
Yeah. How'd you know everyone says it that way? Did you like listening to other podcasts or?
Definitely listening to other podcasts. It being it is unfortunately not the worst pronounced name. We'll get there when we get there. Yeah, I don't know. I think there is. I don't know if it's on like the original Worm WordPress or maybe it's just like a fan wiki of some recommended pronunciations. Possibly it's just a choice made by like the people who did the unofficial audiobook or like maybe those people emailed Wildbow. I don't know. But my received wisdom is that the fandom pronounces it Chevalier.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I do know how I feel about this. I don't know how I want to proceed about this.
It's our podcast.
Get in the comments, everyone.
Yeah.
Tell us how mad you'd be if we said Chevalier.
It also, of course, it's so funny that everybody in the fandom gets so worked up about this name that only is mentioned once in Interlude 5 and never comes back. So speaking of Interlude 5, do you want to hear what the first sentence of it is, or the first line?
Yeah.
This what you wanted? The teenager.
Well, that tells me very little. Was it someone who was spying on their fight and now is reporting to the Protectorate? Yeah, I'm going to say that. I don't know.
We don't know. Is the interlude character the teenager?
No.
Fair.
Because the teenager would know their own name.
Fair. Maybe it's Interlude 5, the teenager. An unnamed protagonist.
Yes.
Ooh.
There are no other teenagers in the interlude.
Well, we got through it. We got through some predictions. We got through all of Arc 5.
You're right. We did get through all of Arc 5.
Very exciting.
Because the interlude is, of course, between arcs.
That's right. Get in the comments again. All right. Till next time.
On Inchworm.
Worm is a web serial by J.C. McCrae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildbow. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.